in Bodhisattva practice. So he says, torment in the Dao Tewa Chen Manu Marante Chishita, they should have hired Janju Simji Kefera name. So that what it explains is as long as we born in this world, then hopefully mostly we born as a mother womb birth. So when we born from mother womb, then always there is a mother with the support of the father. So in this way, how many times one has born in this world, if one is supposed to calculate or to find it out, then it says that we cannot find the beginning. Each and every individual sentient beings that born in this world of samsara from beginningless lifetime. So that's why we cannot find we cannot find our beginning. So according to that, from beginningless birth, then there is the kind of like a mother. So that which says from beginningless lifetime as a mother who is very, very just compassionate and loving and affectionate and caring for kind of like a once kind of child equal together with the father. And in that way, how much kind of like kindness one has done to every one of us with one's kind of like when one have this parents. So to repay back the kindness of all those parent-descended beings, all descended beings. So the best thing that the repaying the kindness is according to their wish, and what they really wish is happiness. And that happiness, temporary happiness in samsara, it is also the kind of like gone. So that is why, according to this mind of Buddhism, kind of like try to train our mind to think that all these very descended beings who wish to be happy, just one try to help them to lead to the ultimate happiness. So that is the Buddhahood, the enlightenment. And what they don't want is the suffering. So that's why we help oneself to liberate them from the cause of suffering, and then experiencing suffering as one born in the samsara. So according to that, one need to have this what is called bodhicitta, to liberate from the cause and condition of the suffering of samsara, and then lead them to the ultimate happiness, to the Buddhahood. And for that, right now, how much we want to help this very family, still we don't have enough just kind of like knowledge or wisdom or power or so many conditions, because somehow oneself is also not liberated out of the suffering of samsara. So that is why then one need to kind of think that, I need and I must have to attain complete enlightenment to benefit all the very descendant beings, to lead them to enlightenment. For that reason, then one wants to engage into this Dharma, and according to that, one wants to hear these Dharma teachings, based on what we have been doing through the 7 line prayer. 7 line prayer in form of kind of generation stage and completion stage, in form of the practice with the kind of like meditation, in form of the inner tantra. This is the part of today. This part is coming about the Dzogchen Bhakti Yoga's form of practice. That all levels of the practices are contained here in the Saranam prayer. So that way, one wants to kind of hear it and then listen it, and then contemplate on the Saranam prayer. As part of the practice is just in one way it is easy, as we have gone through yesterday, to just visualize the Dharmakosha and then kind of that field of the different kinds of lotus, and then in the center there is the kind of the queen of the lotus with the 1,000 petals and surrounded with the many other flowers, and upon that then visualizing the Guru Padmasambhava, kind of either leg bone mostly kind of old bajra hair, and then here holding the skull up with the wisdom, and then have kind of longer life, and with all the normal attributes of the Guru Padmasambhava. Or one can visualize Guru Padmasambhava. Padmasambhava sometimes you run the hand this way, holding the bajra in this way. So visualize that, and then with the single-pointed devotion, and then do the Saranam prayer. Saranam prayer, just as I mentioned yesterday, and because of what that I have received from the Master, including our Great Holiness, they are saying first chanting Saranam prayer is visualizing the whole complete Dhanakosha leg with the Guru Padmasambhava. And then second, kind of turning, second time chanting Saranam prayer, and that just invoke to kind of like invite Guru Padmasambhava wherever in the Nirmanakaya field, or from Copper Mountain, Sangha Valley, then kind of feel that kind of Guru Padmasambhava just a wisdom form come forward, and then the third time prayer chanting, then that is what one has visualized, and then the invoked wisdom, Guru Padmasambhava, just become mingled together and become one. So what means now that is not just one's own imagination or the visualization of the Guru Padmasambhava, but now one has to feel, because you have invoked the wisdom Guru Padmasambhava, and it is the kind of real wisdom Guru Padmasambhava in front of oneself, as if it is kind of present here. Because Saranam prayer itself is the most effective and most powerful and the most essential supplication prayer, that once we chant Saranam prayer, then as we have gone through yesterday, through the text that saying Guru Padmasambhava have almost like no choice not to come here. That much kind of like powerful. And yesterday explained that, for example, like a child is crying, and then the mother has no choice not to take care of that child. Similar like that, Guru Padmasambhava, as we chant 3 times, Guru Padmasambhava is there, and then still continue to accumulate the Saranam prayer in form of supplication, and so that what kind of like constantly kind of doing that prayer to like almost like asking Guru Padmasambhava to give us blessing, and not just only a blessing same like that, we wish to be, kind of actualized exactly with the, enlightened body, speech, mind, and activity, equal to you. So that meaning itself within the, 7-9 prayer. So that way, as one accumulates, whatsoever, maybe, like 7 times or 21 times, when you don't have much time, and when you have enough time, for example, like, kind of wants to do like a retreat, a short retreat with the 7 prayer practice, maybe, like a 3 days. Then from morning, kind of from morning about 6, 7 to evening, about 7, 8, 9 times, one can go on, making those sessions, 4 sessions, 5 sessions, then accumulating that, 700. So as one accumulates, then, like every single, chanting of the 700 prayer, it does help to receive, blessing, and it does, kind of help to purify any of these, obscurities. And as one do more and more, then finally all the obscurations be purified and blessings be, complete, and then one can have all those experiences as according to the text that says, for there are signs where you feel like in an experiential level, just feel very blissful. Physically, how long you see, you don't have any uncomfortable feeling. Just feel very blissful physically. And mentally also, kind of very joyful and peaceful, kind of like almost like extraordinary joy, bliss one can feel. That is part of the, kind of receiving blessings as a sign. And then also, kind of one this emotion, all sorts of emotion, negative emotion and conservative, this also, seems like almost pacified. No more disturbing thoughts, no more feeling of emotions, no more, conceptual thoughts. This, kind of, even during the practice itself, they feel. And even later, when you just, kind of, done the practice and when you, kind of, for the post-meditation state, still your mind can be more clear and calm and, rested, and could feel the sense of Guru Padmasambhava within you. So in that way, that practice to why one have to accumulate, this prayer is until we could, purify everything and accomplish. Then finally, where text also say, then you can after some time, you can just kind of like have the direct perception of Guru Padmasambhava, the wisdom form, and so forth. So that way, thinking that one receives it and then want to engage into this practice, even though one may be busy with all this, what is called samsaric obligation. We have so many things in our lifetime to do. It is also, necessary to survive. We have to survive, and so that one can do these, kind of like practices to attain that liberation, enlightenment. Because one wish and one wants and one already thought or have that sense of commitment by generating bodhicitta, thinking that I want to help all the very ascended beings to lead to enlightenment. So one can't have that intention, then get into one's day-to-day life and just have to be remind oneself and just be mindful and then kind of like do this practice. This is because right now one has that freedom. Freedom how to fit in your practice, within the 24 hours. When you could set up your schedule for the practice. Because without these kind of like a spiritual or dharma practices, life can be anyway just kind of survive, anyway one can enjoy. Anyway, sometimes all obstacles arise, and some kind of sickness arises, and in that way, kind of like hours and days and weeks and months and years and gone, and then one day just come to the end of the day. That is what the nature of life. So, if one have not done something very important, necessary, meaningful, that which is something very, very beneficial for this life and for next life and for all the way to attain enlightenment, is that some practice, dharma practice. Oh, this is part of which is dharma practice, like kind of ceremonial prayer. Plus one can do. So this is Bhajan Guru mantra also. Ceremonial prayer, 7 times, and then do or sometimes you do, if one have more time, 7 prayer 21 times, then do so that way, just even do for half an hour. Out of 24 hours, half an hour become in one day, not wasted. And at the same time, that becomes very, very meaningful or beneficial. And one also at least feel that, oh, today I have done something good. Very joyful. That's what kind of like we need to just try our best. As we say, we are kind of following Buddha's teaching, or we are followers of the Guru Padmasambhava, and then if we follow and if we don't do what all those teachings are being, kind of teachings are being existing, and where one has this opportunity, and where one feels like, oh, I just really pray to Guru Padmasambhava, I really want to kind of follow this Dharma, or I am just following this kind of like a whole complete enigma in it. Even one think and feel like that, but if one don't do this at least a little bit of practice, then it's kind of like wasting, wasting time, wasting what is called precious form. So that way, kind of need to just understand. So now as with that your intention, then as we go through this prayer explanation by Lama Nipan Rinpoche, in the 19th century, a very great, kind of not just only scholar, but a highly realized, enlightened master. So according to that, then this Sarana prayer, at least you need to have some idea of how Sarana prayer came into exist, and how this beginnings, kind of like a chant Sarana prayer, and how Guru Padmasambhava kind of invited, and then how that in Nalanda University, all the Nalanda practice and also benefit lots of non-Buddhist ones where kind of like just follow the right path. And then in the Saranam prayer, outer meaning according to the Guru Padmasambhava's kind of like relative life related with the Saranam prayer. And now today, even though there are many other sections, today we will go through the kind of like a second section that is saying Nipa Nam Vedanta Shavas. So, whom we did some this Saranam prayer, the outer meaning related with the Guru Padmasambhava's life story, which we have gone through. Plus, that within that when it says, Yamte Chogi Mutu Ne, how Guru Padmasambhava, in his life, something very amazing, just wonderful, within one lifetime, how he actualized everything all the way to the complete enlightenment. So now, this is Saranam prayer, which is saying very profound. So, I will explain now the hidden meaning of whom and that is kind of outer prayer. What is that hidden meaning? What it means? Whom and Odi, Nujang, Tham, and Pemagata, like what that means. Or hidden meaning means internally with more deeper level. So that also can be categorized into like the inner tantra, which is called Ati Yoga or Mahayoga, Anu Yoga, Ati Yoga. In the inner tantra, these three. So out of these three, they are still more higher is the Ati Yoga, which is called the Topachambo, the great perfection. So according to that day, then kind of practice or explanation of Saranam prayer, then it is saying kind of like a Dharam Darshan, Dharam, the path, how to attain that enlightenment through kind of like engaging to liberation. So liberation in Dzogchen, that Dharam related with the what is called texture, kind of cutting through. So cutting through, when as we have gone through yesterday, that kind of the view, the absolute nature of mind, that view. So when you abide in that view, in that state of mind, then this view, the texture, kind of cuts through all this samsaric, kind of mental activity. Means, conceptual thinking, discursive thought, emotions, everything. All this instantly cuts through when you are abiding in that view. That is why it is called, in certain term, it's called texture. Then the second method is kind of like practice is called Tablam Darshan. Tablam, that path explained as a kind of method, as a skillfulness, that which is called in Dzogchen figure, the clear-like practice. So there is kind of two. And at the same time, then Lantao Menat Darshan. Then to come into completion, decisive completion as the kind of like a innermost conscience, kind of instruction. So that goes kind of three ways to understand. Out of that, now the first is what is called Dhiram, means more related with the texture, but it is to encompass, it can be understand more based on the emptiness and appearance. So, according to that, what we say, so what that whom she contributed in the room to around September, to be studied so earlier, the outer meaning whom is saying, it is the self-arising wisdom of the Guru Padmasambhava or the Buddhas, like expressing the source, like whom. So now here that whom is saying, all the samsara and nirvana. So samsara. Samsara means this whole complete world, this our relative existence. This according to science, they are global, the round one, and within that there are 6 realms, 6 classes of sentient beings. These such as like there are Khenchen beings, whole bunch of them suffering constantly, and there are hungry ghost realms. Suffering from hunger and thirsty for their whole lifetime. There are a whole bunch of like those categories. And then animal we can see. Animals on the ground, animals in the ocean, animals living in the water, and then animals flying, all the birdies, insects. Those all are categorized into like animal realm. Then those are called 3 lower realms, have more suffering. Then 3 upper realms, us, human beings, or human beings, no matter where we are born, or whatever sort of culture, tradition, belief system, whatever we may have, it's all categorized into human beings. Then next is what is called asuras. In Sanskrit, asuras, demigods. They have luxury and prosperity equal to God will. But they are like about their place is just lowered down into the like Mount Venus, like a lower part. Then the asuras, the demigods. But they are just naturally have so much jealousy with God realm. The one simple example that says there is a called wish fulfilling tree. There are wish fulfilling tree, which is called in Tibetan somewhat to the Zhengzhuxing, not exactly Zhengzhuxing, that which is the root is grown in the Asura's place, and then it grows up and up in the Mount Meru, and then on the top of the Mount Meru, this tree, like just all the fruits grow there, that say, Pasam Shing. And so then the fruit grow in the ground, and then that the gods enjoy all the fruit there. So that is why they jealous, and then like fight with the God. Always they fight. And it is not just only this Pasam Shing wish fulfilling tree, but there are many other many of the previous versions karma involved. Why they do. Anyway, that Asura and then the God realm. God realm, like Indra, Rama, and Vishnu, and so on, where very common in our like Hinduism. We have all those gods. So the God realms have more prosperity. So anyway, all these are called sentient beings. And they all are in samsara. So that's what it is called samsara. And then as all the Hinayana arhats. There are arhats, and then the liberated bodhisattvas, and then the enlightened kind of beings. So here, then whom is kind of like explaining that whom as the sixth level of samsara and nirvana. With the sixth level, whom and the samsara and nirvana's essential nature. The essential nature is kind of like known by as by the whom, and then that whom is the sixth level of the samsara and nirvana, which is within every single sentient being, known as Rantu Yeshe, self-arising wisdom. Rantu Yeshe, and that Rantu Yeshe is anyway the absolute nature of mind. That as mentioned, the view, the inner Tantra kind of like view, and that it is emptiness in nature, but it is kind of illuminating itself to just kind of like having that clarity or being aware of everything. Or that is the kind of whom the heart seeks level that of samsara and nirvana as kind of like self-arising wisdom. So whom. Then now talking about Ujin Yun Yun Tam, Ujin Yul and Sheva, Saman Jume Ne, Sheva Jume. So Ujin Yul is the where all the Tantra teachings, which kind of like arise, according to the outer meaning in the Odhyana, and that where when Guru Padmasambhava was born in the lake, and that is Ujin Yul. From that then Ujin Khanduli, in those days that area is just all kind of dirtiness and dagas, all are very dedicated into Dharma. So how that serious mantra is this. Then here, Saman Jume Ne, that the source of the serious mantra, Java Jinka, then Namdi Kapu, Rangi Sana name. So now according to the inner meaning of, hidden meaning of this Ujin Yu, the source of serious mantra is not outside. It is kind of like one's heart and then one's mind. Because all this understanding of this knowledge comes from kind of one's kind of the nature of mind. Because as we have gone through, this samsara is of production of mind, and nirvana is also production of mind. So now the source of the secret mantra and all the tantra also arise from one's kind of mind, from the heart. So Siddhisana remained there are words that need to kind of understand in that way. Then Nujjam Seva, then whom Ujin Vidi, Nujjam, Nup means the west, according to Tibetan. Jam is kind of north, and that which is kind of relating outer meaning, northwest part of Ujin, kind of Dhammakosa way. But here, this is Nup and Jam, kind of is saying Damso Uchiva. Nup is like sin. In Tibetan, Nup, or I got stuck in the mud. So that which is related with the samsara. So all sentient beings are sink down in the kind of samsara, like a muddy samsara. And Jam means kind of like get out of it, or just kind of purify, which means kind of like a nirvana, or the kind of liberation. So here this is Nup and Jam, meaning according to that. Then a Joan and Jupes, drop this Nup is there, forward, so Nup sinking down into samsara. In a way, if we really don't have this kind of spiritual practice to how to engage in practice to attain liberation, enlightenment, then we are always, kind of stuck in samsara. Just many lifetimes, going through all this cycle. So that is why here it is a, kind of like a samsara, and then jham. Jham is there, jham means something that purifies. Purified is, get out of samsara, means nirvana in Sanskrit, which means liberation, liberating out of kind of the samsara. So here, loop and jham is meaning as kind of samsara and nirvana. Loop jham, so from the sutra that we talked in Gole. And this is about the Nujo Kumba Duyu Ni, and Kiraseva and Lord and Chuameva, or good Taman and Muchos. So that like Shakyamuni Buddha, when those you know the Shakyamuni Buddha's life story, when Shakyamuni Buddha is kind of first born, then he just walks 7 steps towards the kind of like a loop, means to the west. And that what it is symbolizing is, now this is the final life to born in samsara. And that which can exhaust the getting rebirth in samsara and getting rebirth in samsara, experiencing those kind of like 12 links of the interdependent coordination and kind of like old age and death and so forth. Look on that what it is kind of like just going to exhaust. So like after that Shakyamuni Buddha is not going to reborn in samsara as an ordinary being. So that's what it is kind of saying. Then jam choke kumba do for ni so true. Then jam is again he walks 7 steps towards the kind of like a north. So that's what it is kind of symbolizing is now from this time then he's getting liberated out of the kind of samsara. So that loop and jam kind of like a meaning getting out of samsara and attaining nirvana. Then loop within duty, loop jam, thumb. So thumb is kind of like borderline. So thumb here what the non-Nivaranje explained is thumb shape is so that once one kind of like here in relation with Guru Padmasambhava 700 thumb in between, so not really abiding in samsara and nirvana or in between. So kind of like get out of it. So this samsara, just our samsara, this world, as we know this one. Then nirvana is only that get out of the samsara is, for example, like according to the Hinayana level, then this nirvana is obtained arhat. So arhat, they never ever have to reborn back into samsara. But they have never attained enlightenment. They didn't become Buddha. They have not become enlightened Buddha. So that is why the liberation out of samsara, obtaining that arhat level, is called kind of like a Shiva, peace. There is no more samsaric suffering. So this thumb explains kind of like not abiding in, of course, in samsara, not even abiding in the like arhat, the nirvana. Because that is not the ultimate stage of the liberation of enlightenment. So it also goes beyond that thumb. That is that's what that is why according to Mayana, according to Mayana Sutra of Vajrayana, that from the very beginning we, kind of like have the intention to generate bodhicitta, to attain enlightenment, achieve Buddha will, so that one can benefit all other centered beings. If we are in arhat level, seeing there, what is called meditative absorption, just they sit into meditative absorption, like kind of eons and eons sitting there. There is no something, but there is no anything, other than that could benefit, other centered beings. So here it is going beyond than that. Oh, someday, some change to man, so this explains about, just the absolute view on the, this is our same, in Tibetan, same and same me. Same is mind. Same me is the nature of mind. So that is this is simply our true nature of mind is neither in samsara nor in kind of nirvana. It is just the ultimate state of the enlightenment as the kind of like a perfection, perfected kind of like a nature. So that's what kind of it is explaining here. Yeah. Anyway, according to the great Yoga, our absolute nature of mind is not affected by any of these samsaric phenomena and also any of the nirvana phenomena. It is completely, just pure, just as it is. So, that is why it is known as the machine, the primordial absolute nature of mind. So, that's what it is saying, getting out of samsara and nirvana, this kind of like meaning. Then there is one more of also that that absolute nature of mind, that which is the primordial ground, that one kind of realize and recognize, and one who is that one who has recognized, in this kind of enlightenment, then that saying Dhamma Yasa Mola, that which is Dhamma, that Dhamma Lotus shape. Yin kata otomani impege samale samakande yen number tate yen number tate tangi payment tate kyota de kampu yang minute mo ni something you do to charge. So payment is anyway the Lotus translation as a part of the Guru Padmasambhava name. But here that what payment is kind of like explaining is the primordial absolute nature of the phenomenon, the emptiness without any definition. So, it is the word, but if you have got little bit familiar with some of the material, kind of like teaching, then I think you could get some kind of concept of understanding about emptiness without any elaboration. So that which means it is not affected by samsara nirvana, it is completely pure nature. And that's what we do to Guru Padmasambhava's nature as Padma or Lotus, how it is kind of pure, as explained yesterday. So and so that's what it is need to be kind of realized, that Brahma. And then the other talk to you enlightened mind, whatsoever those enlightened qualities, there are so many kind of like qualities, almost like inexpressible, which means so much of great qualities as one attaining complete enlightenment. So that to identify or to symbolize, then this together, how it is kind of like actualized with that feminine tendency. So Padma, in a very condensed, easy way to understand, Padma is talking about the emptiness nature. And then Gyatso is kind of like symbolizing as that the subjective mind, which is the transcendental mind or subjective mind, Padma Gyatso. Tongpo is the kind of Padma Gyatso on Tongpula. Tongpula is that where this kind of emptiness and then the subjective mind as transcendental wisdom, they are not as object and subject, they just become very non-dual. They have to measure what the also, the lotus Padma and then Padma in kind of words, all everything together, formed by the lotus trunk. Same like that, the emptiness and then the transcendental knowledge, wisdom, is being kind of like combined together with that sense of kind of enlightened mind. That's what it explains about the Padma Gyatso Mola. I don't know how much you get it, or if I hope I'm not confusing you. So before we get confused, we enjoy with this one. And especially Vajrayana, like how King Indrabodhi received, the Vajrayana evolved from Shakyamuni Buddha. What he said, oh Buddha, give me such a teaching that without abandoning all these luxuries and happiness and joys, without abandoning, still I can engage in the Dharma. So that's what it is called the Vajrayana. Vajrayana, as long as you don't have strong attachment, thinking, then you don't necessarily have to abandon the five sense objects. Kind of like enjoying it, still you are engaging in practice. So that is what we have to like going through this teaching to understand, and again we enjoy this now. Uji, Jantam, Denmark, Angola. These two lines we have gone through. Now the third line is the Yamten Chodu Ni. So Yamten is something very, very special, astonishing, amazing, kind of very wonderful. That has been expressed here so much of support from many of the tantras and also from sutra, in slope that which one or two these slows I will explain. Rest still, if we go explaining, it will take like 3 months. So we will condense here with the 2-3 slopes. Otherwise, just have to hold for another 3 months to go. So that the most amazing thing with the Guru Padmasambhava, kind of like explained here. The first from the Doha that saying, Simiti Bukiti Southern Tegana for the Yamin that was the red to Ishin Modesta and Kama, this which I got, I think maybe yesterday. And that anyway, just that complete meaning is saying, like the seven need, like seven is samsaric mind. Seven need is nirvana mind. So the nirvana mind is the nature of the samsaric mind. So that's why, as explained, all this samsara and nirvana, all this phenomena, everything arises out of this kind of mind and the kind of the nature of mind. So according to that, if you kind of like contemplate and really think it over, everything, the whole complete existence of this whole cosmology is just production of one's own mind. And all these phenomena looks like they are external, but they are not kind of like truly existing as anything external other than the part of the projection of our mind. So that's what it is, kind of one slope, which is 4 lines. So that is why if we recognize our true nature mind, then there is enlightenment. If we could not recognize our true nature mind, then we are wandering into samsara. So that is what is kind of like forget. Similarly, you look over there, Masan Jimishara, but the mighty Manga, Namjo Moon, Soto, and Nishichu, to do very in the Chakra. So, anybody, if one have read Heart Sutra, the Prajna Paramita, in the beginning, there is one slope, 4 lines, which talks about that the absolute nature of mind. Again, they say, absolute nature of mind is non-dual of emptiness and the appearance, which one can, kind of like experience it when one does the proper meditation and practice. But it is almost that cannot express by any words or language, or also cannot fathom by this our mind. So that's why it expressed Masam Jyoti Sharaparti. Sharaparti means Prajna Paramita, and that's what it is known as transcendental wisdom. Transcend. So transcend from where? From samsara, transcend to nirvana, and then transcendental then against enlightenment. So the range of the short was, then the report should be due that can be better version in. So if we know the root of our kind of mind, then one will accomplish with the whole complete samsara and nirvana in the future. Get the children, but you don't make much to pull you top it. Not yet, unsupin your insurance and record you should record none. So the Chini Junju said, not up in the Julius, and the Pepping which an so these are more or less explaining the same thing but quote from different tantra. Magic Julie, another tantra, there's an evening senior to the Moko Roman Taya, the Sinitin Rane Bashir, Heruka. So sometimes in Bacharana you hear the Radful Devi. Radful Devi is a very scary one, big eyes, and then with the fangs, and then 3 eyes, and they are very big, Radful body, all sorts of kind of like hand emblem. Those are called Heruka. In Sanskrit, it is called Heruka. So Heruka means that it's still Radful Devi, but they are also not other than the kind of enlightened being. Gyatso, and then another tantra, Gyatso, which is a new translation, letter by this Tibetan master, went to kind of like India, especially in Kashmir, and many of the tantras received that who kind of translate into kind of like the Tibetan, called Marpachulu, the master of the Milarepa. Master of the Milarepa, Marpachulu, went to India, and he translated many of the new review of the Tantra, one of that which is also called Gyatso, Hepachara. In that is saying, Shri Nimi Shete, Heading Judo Tomai, Rudin, Toda Terani, Kani Yanda, Nepals. So here explains about Shri Pal Hiruka. Shri means kind of in Sanskrit, there's Shri something, they use that name. Shri means bell means glory. So then in Telugu, He means is the meaning, explaining about the emptiness. He means Yuso, Tombali, in Tibetan, Tombali means emptiness. And then Root means all the theory. Root is that which is kind of like gone beyond without any sort of assemblage of any kind of like a phenomenon. In one way, it is also understand about interdependent origination. So here Root. Ka is Hangtu meaning. So Ka means here Root Ka means it does not abide anywhere. Means it has gone beyond to our conceptual mind, which is kind of like the absolute nature. So this is and another kind of tantra. So fully realize the absolute nature of mind. Then one will be all the time in great blissful happiness and joy because it is oneself is completely enlightened and perfected as a enlightened Buddha. So need to kind of like realize one kind of true nature of mind. So that is in a way that is not even not other than Buddha Samedvata. Dharmakaya, Buddha Samedvata. So that nature is within every kind of like a single sentient being. That what we all have that potential, as explained before. Then beautiful from the culture of Kanda also. Certainly, Dana, Niti, Yamiti, we get Umbujuti, and the ocean, Chik, and Chisa. So, from Kala Chakaratana, was saying, as long as your mind is pure, free, peaceful, and recognize your true nature of mind, that is called the kind of the victorious one, which means Tathaga, the enlightened Buddha. So all this what one needs to do is purify one's mind. So purify one's mind is how to the first step, how to reduce this afflictive emotion. This hatred, anger, jealousy, pride, ignorance, envy, stingy, and all those kind of the negative emotions just have to reduce in our day-to-day life and practice. Just pouring them out. Once you get instantly some anger arise, as I mentioned before. Anger arise, and with the anger, then you kind of shout, and then you act all those negative actions. So that is creating karma that oneself to reborn back into samsara. And if it is the hatred and the anger and creating so much negative action in karma, then that will lead oneself when one dies, then born in hell. So this way, just kind of understanding how this afflictive emotions, afflictive emotions are the cause to create that negative karma as cause and condition to be born in samsara. So that is why in our daily life, just try to recognize when any afflictive emotion arises, recognize, or this is the kind of like afflictive emotion, the negative thought, negative emotion. If I follow and act according to it, I am creating negative karma, and then I cannot liberate from suffering of samsara, and I will be reborn back into samsara and going to experience so much of this suffering. That one have to know, and that is not just have to know, that is what oneself is doing, those who are in samsara. Those who are suffering so much, even in human life, suffering so much is because of their own past lifetimes negative karma. That is what Buddha has taught in the sutra, all in very detail. So the first step, even whether one could immediately recognize one's own primordial pure nature of mind or not, if one could do that, that is the best one. But if one cannot do that, anytime any kind of negative emotion arises, just recognize this is negative emotion. I don't want to create any more karma. I don't want to be born in samsara. I don't want to experience any more suffering. So, immediately just try to let it go, that negative emotion. And there are, kind of like other method, like antidote. When anger arises, instead of, anger, transform into, loving kindness. Then, hatred arises, just instead of being, hateful and the acting on it, kind of just transform into, apply that antidote into compassion. Like that, this is negative emotion one has to work to reduce, and then, kind of less and less and less, and then finally, purify. So to purify this negative emotion and conceptual thinking, instantly, the most direct antidote, most powerful antidote is to realize about the emptiness nature. So emptiness nature is, kind of how you can apply in your, kind of day-to-day lifetime if you have enough mindfulness when anger, hatred, and jealousy, all this pride, ignorance, anything that arises, when it arises, just you need to look into it. For example, like, kind of anger, you feel very frustrated and feeling angry, and then, anger arises and you are getting just kind of like disturbed so much, and then, kind of you recognize this anger. And then anger is a thought, it's an emotion. So you just instantly look into it, what is this anger, what it looks like. And when you look into it, you cannot find this anger as something very concrete, solid, substantial, powerful, any kind of like entity. You cannot find it. Because it is just an emotion. So when you look into it, then instantly it will dissolve. When it dissolves, means it dissolves into emptiness. Disappears. So when it disappears, you have an empty space where this anger gone, and there is an empty space and spaciousness. And then abide there, like meditate, hold on to that spaciousness. And that will, kind of directly apply an antidote for anger and so forth, any other afflictive emotion. So that way one have to try to practice in our daily life. So this is, kind of actual nature of mind is not other than the self-arising awareness. And if one could recognize that, then you whole complete system of the samsara and the samsaric being and samsaric experiences, samsaric phenomena, everything just kind of got purified and actualized as the kind of pure nature. So when you put this, so this magical word, this Guya Samaya, this kind of like the inner tantra, in that they apply a kind of logical reasoning of what is called one and many. That even if you put this Sutra Alankara, Madhyamik Kalantara by Acharya Shankara Shita, Temple Shivato, Shankara Shita, who came to Tibet. He wrote that text. In that he applied this one and many, kind of logical reasoning to establish, kind of like emptiness. So there are some few books, it is better to start, kind of reading to gain more knowledge, to accumulate more wisdom, and to understand the Saranam prayer in a more deeper and better way. So this is all talking about Guru Padmasambhava's 7-line prayer out of the third one. Yamten Chodri Utu Ni. Yamten Chodri. Yang most astonishing, amazing. What is that? Also he realized all this, kind of aspect of absolute nature. So the Kunji Jogu is one of inner tantra. Inner tantra that we say, sometimes Vacha Sattva, Torche Sempa, Vacha Sattva, and the Vajra Sattva, that is, we recognize as a deity, Vajra Sattva. But what that kind of makes that Vajra Sattva deity, appearance is, is kind of like absolute nature of mind, which is called Dorje Kama Nila Semba Yishimbo, Dorje Vajra. Dorje in Tibetan, Sanskrit Vajra. So what that Dorje or Vajra means, something that which is indestructible, something which cannot be destroyed. So something which cannot be destroyed is emptiness. For example, like space. This is space. Who can destroy the space? How much we use weapons or guns shoot into the space, whatever we do, even bomb, but this space cannot be destroyed. So same like that, absolute nature of our mind is kind of emptiness nature that nothing can destroy. And that what it is the Vajra mind. And the Vajra Sattva. Sattva, the Sanskrit word means kind of like a seven, Torche Semba. So that word means seven is Yeshe, wisdom. So Buddha Vajra Sattva is the production of the kind of non-dual nature of emptiness and wisdom. And that is the absolute nature of our mind too. So that is when we understand, when we recognize, when we realize it, there is no difference between you and the Vajra Sattva. And at the same time, that is the absolute nature of mind, and there is no difference between yourself and Guru Padmasambhava. So Guru Padmasambhava's most amazing knowledge, amazing transcendental wisdom is what he has actualized there. So so that is So that way, here it explains about this. Actually, it is opposed very high level of tantra. Maybe not necessarily kind of easily, instantly one could understand. But however, it is very, very important to just at least cultivate a seed to that one kind of enjoy. So our everyday form, feeling, perception, formation, and everyday was a mind. This we are composed of this five everyday. Form is typical form. Feeling, we have feeling. Perception, how we perceive, conceptualizing. And then information, all different activities. And then consciousness, mind. So we are composed of these five aggregates. And these five aggregates are according to the absolute nature. These are the five deities. And the five absolute emotions are in the absolute nature is five wisdom. So that's what it is kind of explaining, and that's what Guru Padmasambhava has accomplished and perfected with all those enlightened nature. So part of that, and then so we to be. So the usually some Gita from that kind of like Tantra also explained here. So all this extraordinary knowledge, understanding, realization, enlightenment, perfection is all that Guru Padmasambhava has actualized, accomplished, perfected. So that is why it is called Yanten. So whether the Pachimatan, then the Khenchen Tsewang Gyatso also this is what in the great perfection that the great perfection of clear light nature. And this clear light nature is always there. You see, it's clear light. Your eyes open, it's all clear light. And that clear light that you cannot conceptualize because it is emptiness in nature, just clear light. Just as it is, you see, and that is what the, like a great perfection is being kind of replied. That means there was to compare Mushin is so good also, Yanten so good Yanten, and so good the, like supreme accomplishment. That what. Kunju Dojishan should be given to Power. My name by Jindes, Jindes of Kunju to Fema and Shevchenko. All this, then Jantan showed you to me, and one who has accomplished this extraordinary, kind of transcendental wisdom, and that which has been known as Pema yourself in the world. Then coming that Pema in the world. And Pema said, thanks for what they have. And they are which give to Marine the Sanjay, and Shija, and the teacher, Sanjay from the Shevata. So, Sanjay, in the Tibetan word, Sanjay means Buddha, enlightenment. So, what that word means, Sun means, kind of like awakening. So, from where one awakening is from this, kind of diluted mind, or this from ignorance. Ignorance, samsaric mind, or diluted mind, kind of wants to awake. So it is like, kind of you are in a deep sleep, and then you don't know what is happening surrounding you and the rest of all the world. Because you are deep sleep. And then from there, once you wake up, Once you wake up, your all five sense and six sense, all just kind of activate. Eyes can see, ear can hear, nose smell, mouth kind of just physical body, have the texture, and mind will just kind of what is going on in the world, kind of completely awaken. That's what it is called sun, meridian sun. And then get is then, kind of like once oneself is awakened, then one have the just kind of that knowledge that knows the whole complete kind of existence of this world is kind of nature. Like the lotus petal, just kind of like spread out all over. Same like that, what is called sun, jet, and that's what it is the Guru Padmasambhava. Also, Sangye. So, Padma, or kind of like Sangye. Here, Guru Padmasambhava name Sang. Padma means kind of like Sangye, Shetan. Not there was a past, present, future Buddhas, they all have to realize this the absolute nature of mind. That contains view. And only through this, kind of all the past Buddha also enlightened through that. Present Buddha like Shakyamuni Buddha also enlightened that. And then the future Buddha like Maitreya Buddha and so forth. And future Buddhas of us. We also engage into this practice, we can be our future Buddha. And that future Buddha may be kind of future of 2050, 2060, 2070, 2080, 90. We may become Buddha according to this objective. If not, then we have future of next life. If our perseverance, the diligent practice not strong enough, then we will, after many lifetimes, become Buddha. So it depends upon one's kind of practice. So to become Buddha is one have to recognize this one's kind of like absolute nature of mind. This is the Kuchu June Jang or Chukuru So, is that how from the absolute sense, just knowing the absolute nature of mind, the true nature of mind, that how all the past, present, future Buddha enlightened, in that way, same kind of Guru Padmasambhava perfected, and once got enlightened, then in the absolute reality, these enlightened Buddhas and enlightened deities, they are not completely individually separate because they are enlightened nature. So their enlightened mind, because of their transcendental wisdom, they are transparent to each other. But relatively, then kind of like Shakyamuni Buddha passed away, kind of that Eden passed, and then the Maitreya Buddha coming and that Guru Padmasambhava after that enlightened, and those which seems like kind of separately in the relative world. Once you attain enlightenment, then there is no individual self-characterized Buddha. And to do that, what is known as Brahma-Junesha Buddha, never changing. Never changing, Brahma-June means words more words, and they think the number is same. So Brahma-June, is that kind of enlightened being, Guru Padmasambhava. That Brahman June synonym, synonym, just same kind of meaning, different name, but kind of same thing. So Brahman June and that other kind of like synonym, what it is saying, kind of. That other words, Kundu Sambo, or Kundu Sambo, Buddha Samet Bhatri, Bhatra, that is Padman June, and same thing, Kundu Sambo. Tangbu Sangye, the primordial Buddha. And that other name, Chögy Ying, the Dharma Dhatu in Sanskrit, Dharma Dhatu, Chögy Ying. Chögy Ying is just kind of inconceivable. It's very pervasive within whole complete samsaric phenomena and then nirvana phenomena, and pervasive within all the enlightened beings and pervasive within all the sentient beings. Chögy Ying, Dharma Dhatu, means one who actualizes that is also known as Dharma Dhatu. Or according to Madhyamika teaching, Yang Tapetha, the perfection of the kind of like extreme, Chuni Janju Sen, and sometimes say Chuni Janju Sen, the bodhicitta of the absolute nature, or Dishini suchness, the suchness of all this kind of phenomena, and the turn of the Teba, the absolute truth, Ramju Ishi, self-directing wisdom, Deshi Yungu, Tathagata, Buddha nature, So this Buddha nature, these all are synonym of Guru Padmasambhava, Padma June, Padmasambhava. Sishipunya Yeshe, Yeshe, Rachu, you make it, Tabaku Yeshe, Senja Devachubo, Jewish Yeruka, then the Hostel Yeruka. Means that Chonchu said, means Deshinubu, means Guru Padmasambhava, the same way. Umachubo, Chachachubo, Tobachubo, Chubusum Yetana for the Nitobu, or then Umachubo, great. Middle path, Madhyamik, great middle path, Chakachumbo, the Mahamudra, the great field, and the Tokachumbo, the great perfection. So those all are kind of like synonyms. And then I go to the Dana, Shayam, Vijayam, thinking about the midget and the Dukuna also. So these are what is kind of the absolute nature. So to that end, we see that the object is so within that complete enlightenment of the transcendental wisdom, and it has so many branches of its kind of like wisdom that which kind of like perfected in that. So for that then saying Hortu, Kando, Mumbe, Hortu as a retinue, kind of Kando, that which is kind of like this kind, not just only the nearly Tahiti, kind of means all sorts of kind of state of the just realized kind of wisdom. So that Ying Jindeji Kala, so Kando, Ka means space. And that space is that kind of a Dhamma Dhatu, where there is no any kind of like obscuration. For example, like this space outside the sky, when no clouds, no smoke, no any kind of like disturbing, just feel completely clean space. Same like that, the kind of enlightened mind is also kind of like completely clean, but still empty in nature, that which one can or experience and realize. So that in Jimmy Kala, Rinpoche Yishiki, so the completely clean space, all the no smoke, no cloud, no anything of purity. Sometimes you can see the sky very clean. That is symbolizing about emptiness. And then within that kind of sunshine so bright, and the whole day is just beautiful and fresh and enjoyable. Same like that, within the emptiness, the self-arising awareness, the wisdom, and that the wisdom and the emptiness, non-dual, and that like a very good day, that so much of kind of joy as non-conceptual joy, non-conceptual bliss, non-conceptual happiness. That sort of kind of as a perfection of the enlightenment. That's what it is called Khor Khando Nongir Khor. So they kind of like a lineage, the Buddha lineage. And within one Buddha lineage, there can be manifest 5 Dhyani Buddha lineage. Within the 5 Dhyani Buddha's lineage, that also can, for example, like Buddha, the Buddha Vajrasattva, then Buddha Vajrasattva also can come and manifest into another 5 classes of the Dhyani Buddha. And similarly, Buddha Bharadama also in the kind of 5 category. And similarly, Buddha Amitabha, and that 5 multiply them, kind of Buddha. 25 Buddhas and 25 Buddha lineage can be, kind of multiplied into just kind of 100. That way, 100 deities and all those are manifested in that way. All this what Guru Padmasambhava has accomplished and perfected, something that which is very extraordinary and astonishing thing. Is within every single sentient being, in our nature also have, but our nature that what we have is obscure because of this samsaric mind, the samsaric afflict emotions, and the cognitive obscuration. It is obscure, so it is like a hidden treasure. For the sentient being, it's like a hidden treasure. So, what it is been obscure, to purify this, to actualize one's own, this promoted nature, then this Savana prayer practice. Savana prayer, chanting, and then kind of practicing just over and over and over. That helps you kind of clear out layers and layers of the obscuration, kind of slowly purify one by one, and then finally everything got purified. So have to do that until all the obscuration is purified. So if this obscuration is completely purified, then you attain the realization and the enlightenment. Then you have done everything forever and ever and ever and ever. In its kind of like a perfection of enlightenment in the Buddha faith. Done forever. And at the same time, no one can just start to benefit rest of all other sentient beings. Like Shakyamuni Buddha, after attaining enlightenment, how he benefits the many sentient beings by giving his dharma. So this is kind of there is something that you can done. If not in samsara, from beginning this lifetime we have been trying to achieve something for oneself, try to have all these houses and kind of belongings and material wealth and food and kind of life and so forth. Just working hard, and then again just one day die and then we leave everything. Then again reborn back. Then again do same thing. And then again just die. Then again born, then die. And then if we die and born back into human being, we are lucky enough. But if one have not, kind of like accumulated enough merit or wisdom, and have committed so much of negativity, then we will born in animal world, or Holy Ghost being, or hell. That's what we are going to do. And that just sort of cycle of the birth and death, how much we do in samsara, that goes on and on and on and never ends. It becomes limitless, So if you attain enlightenment, you just achieve the perfection, the greatest happiness, and you are done. That is something one day you are done with everything. But samsara never been done. Chapter may say, how much you do, still you need to do. And how much you just obtain this life, then at the end you leave everything, including this body. We leave everything. That will be, which is known as the liquid don't go table and get away. Or you talk about so that is better to the notice should look in the one should go table and get away. For both of the practice to add in complete life before benefit or sensitivity, then you kind of this our life. You need to obey all our relatives and friends and close friends and dear ones and so forth. Just be together for maybe 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, or 90 years. Being just kind of kind and nice and family life, And during all those times, kind of better to the knowledge with so much hard work, we accumulate all those men, and then this, our body is like a guest house. Our consciousness is like a guest and abiding here. When time comes, when your contract of this life is finished, then you have to leave. Cannot get in this body. Well, so that's why kind of like doing this kind of dharma, even this sadhana prayer and practices, every time even born as a human being, then after some time, one continues that practice, one can be liberated, attain enlightenment. Then again, one can also kind of help all other sentient beings. So that's what it is kind of also explaining here. So, understanding all these about the quality of Guru Padmasambhava, or I also, or we also want to follow like you, or what is explained in the Sutra, Tantra, and all these. Take it as a part of the, or change of the or the diploma, the Soto Gimiru, daylight, so change them, check it just for change of so change how Guru Padmasambhava Sarana prayer, how it explained, according to that once we come to engage in the practice, then everything gets perfectly purified and then actualize exactly like Guru Padmasambhava. So that how to actualize whatever this kind of like instruction, so how to engage into the practice through the kind of master's instruction as one actualize, then kind of shape one will be get there to the enlightenment. Nonetheless, shape of the journey, shape means kind of like respect to word, just kind of like being going. So where that oneself is going is to the enlightenment. That is just about it. After you, we are going to enlightenment through your kind of like practice. The third thing to the use the so the finally one has to actualize the true nature of mind. So this kind of the emptiness nature of our mind is that the kind of Dharmakaya, Buddha Sun and Battery, and that which is the ultimate Guru, that Guru. And then so then Guru, Pema, Siddhi, coming to the last line. Now almost finished. So the Pema is that again, something which is completely pure in its nature, that which is the non-conceptual compassion. Non-conceptual compassion. It's a compassion without any concept. Cares for all sentient beings without any kind of distraction or discrimination. That what it is the quality of that kind of Guru Padmasambhava after Dharma. Then you go and you the Sushubinja or Kondekunja or Chachi Thai that Loa Kunja, the issue to the Siddhi accomplishment. After once actualized with the kind of emptiness nature, with the pure awareness, with the non-conceptual compassion, and then one gets perfectly enlightened. Then again, one kind of have that perfection of the accomplishment, siddhi, the enlightenment, the perfect liberation. Then one starts to benefit the rest of all kind of sentient beings. So that is the hidden meaning, part of the 7-line prayer. So we have completed and understood that. Guru Padmasambhava Hum. So Hum is just like a final completion that to actualize that blessing and that perfection and purification. So that we kind of completed at least kind of that part of meaning. So I don't know if you have any question. No question? Or have question?
Yesterday you touched upon the classical issue of self-conscious phenomena briefly.
Yes, that's correct.
You briefly touched upon the explanation of classical illusion. Magical illusion.
Huh?
When we were discussing the self-conscious phenomena, when we were discussing, you were giving teaching on the self-conscious phenomena, you briefly touched upon
magical illusions here. Magical illusions.
Oh.
Illusion, right?
Magical illusion. This is all magical illusion. If we, for example, like yesterday, it's become an illusion compared to today. We have only just tiny bit of memories of what happened yesterday and the day before yesterday and so forth. But right now, that whole complete scene of the yesterday and day before that and so forth is just completely gone. Nothing is ever existed. So whatever we see today is all today phenomena which looks like real, but it will be just completely an illusion just after 1 hour. So in a way, that is what the great Indian masters, all the Nagarjuna, Chandrakirti, and Rosum Mahapandita, the great one of the numerous masters, he said, this itself is illusion. There is no any other illusion than that itself. But for the realized being, this is an illusion. So that is why Guru Padmasambhava, when they sting in their body, kind of like to punish him, just try to put in the fire and try to burn him. So he has realized this whole system is illusion and unreal and not true. So that is why even burn into the fire, Guru Padmasambhava body cannot burn, and fire has no any power to burn his body, because it is all illusion. The fire is illusion for Guru Padmasambhava, his body is illusion, the samsara is illusion. So at the present time, with the looking in the body and so forth, it looks like they all see, fire is fire, fire will burn. But for one who have realized the illusion in nature, emptiness nature, fire is burn. So same like that, moment we have that realization of the emptiness nature or the kind of the view, then this kind of this itself is not other than an illusion. Is that nothing can kind of like exist. But the problem is, as a being, we didn't recognize this as illusion. So that is why we have to take example like magical illusion, the magicians. Magicians, they do with all sorts of substance and they are tricked, and then they show something kind of different out of the cup and then show out a bird coming out. It is all just kind of illusion. There is no real bird. So kind of that is illusion for us as relative. Our dreams, last night dream, day before yesterday dream. When we wake up, it's a dream, it is illusion. And this is we consider as real. But for the enlightened being, there is no any other illusion than this itself. This itself is illusion. So that is why we always try to focus, nothing is real. Everything is illusion. So why I have to have so much attachment, grasping, clinging, and emotion, and disturbances, and just kind of myself, and then kind of all this conceptual thinking have to kind of reduce. For example, you see this fake flower. Fake flower, you use this because it's modern. They are really telling that they make this kind of with cloth or something. The flower looks like so real when you kind of see. You go there, well, this is a flower. And then this is fake flower. Then you already lose your attachment. And grasping, clinging on it. Same like that, when you started training your mind to see all this illusion, then that way, kind of the grasping, clinging, chasing after all this material wealth will slowly reduce and reduce and reduce, and then after some time you can see exactly like illusion, and then there is a sense of great joy. So that one is equal to the magical illusion.
We are so thankful that you gave such a vast, profound explanation of the 7-line prayer. We feel are very fortunate. Thank you. My question is, in this era of artificial intelligence and social network, where the kids are so much influenced, we would really like our kids to go on the spiritual teachings and all. So, in consideration to the 7-line prayer, my question is how do we introduce this 7-line prayer to our kids? Because I see the meaning so profound. Previously I used to just say it as a casual prayer, without. I knew the meaning of it, but I did not know the profound meaning of it. So now I am a little bit scared. Can I tell it casually? Sometimes when we are working as a working woman, we are always feeling that we are not praying enough. So sometimes, suppose if I do less of the prayer chanting, sometimes I have the habit of, chanting the prayer in the vehicle itself, without doing any reflection prayer, without dedication. We just chant the prayer like that. So is it, my question would be, is it casual to say the prayer that way, Rinpoche? And secondly, how to introduce this prayer to our coming generation of kids? Thank you.
This is okay that 7-line prayer, as the 7-line prayer itself, one can go on chanting 7-line prayer and Guru mantra, and also one can introduce to anybody, those who are somehow, those who have some kind of connection in Buddhism or in Vajrayana or Guru Padmasambhava, they are just even tiny bit of interest. It is okay to say, oh, you chant the 7-line prayer and Guru mantra, it's okay. And as one chant this, like a 7-line prayer, that the thing is, one need to have at least a little bit of knowledge about the Guru Padmasambhava. So to have knowledge and to have some understanding of the qualities of the Guru Padmasambhava, then one can read. There are the Guru Padmasambhava's life story, all it is translated in English. You just look in your library, you can definitely find it. So that way, and that is the purpose. If you know, or as how it is explained here in this Raman prayer, that you understand about the Guru Padmasambhava's enlightenment quality, then the thing is one can give rise to devotion and the trust and rely upon Guru Padmasambhava as one's object of gratitude. So with that devotion, as one go on chanting 7-line prayer in over and over hundreds and thousands and millions, that itself go through process of purification. Purification in one's being and receiving blessing, and then through that one could experience all these qualities, whatever it is, within the 7-line prayer. The 7-line prayer holds all this profound explanation. It is there. So just continuously chanting 7-line prayer and not losing the devotion, and that is faith and trust, and as said this life, and as one chant, then all the qualities, what profound aspect of the 7-line prayer about the Guru Padmasambhava explained, that will just slowly one can receive, one can experience, and then one will just know all this profound aspect one can experience internally, and that same day one can also let other friends, if they want to know, also can share with them about the chanting 7-line prayer. So in other times, casual time, you can also chant, and then real practice, sit down at least half an hour. Half an hour do that, practice, as I mentioned. And then other times also, while you are traveling or the blessing of Saran prayer, and that way one can benefit.
Can we make one question?
Yeah.
Need to ask you. 먼저 내가 지금 나게 남는 제거라. 이 먼저 시는 네가 없으나 남는지 관리체고 그러나 시사를 제가 좀 받더라. 이 지금 나게 가지 변토를
그러니까 서고 있는 거, 시를 두고 있는 거, 세점만 있는 거, 완전 다 있는 this Jumdashi, he asked that how we do that in practice when we are dying, or what we would do in the bottle, intermediate state, how to just kind of like apply in practice. So I am saying that, maybe I am not saying, based on this, my Guru's teaching, as long as one just rely upon, as long as one rely upon the Saran prayer, based on all the enlightenment qualities of the Guru Padmasambhava, and with that kind of single-pointed devotion and trust and rely. Since Guru Padmasambhava is condensed of, as we have gone through, condensed nature of all the past, future, Buddha, Dhammakaya, Sambhogakaya, Nirmanakaya, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, all the Guru, Deva, Dharini, everything is in a way condensed or assembled in his enlightenment, kind of nature. So it is like a supreme object of the refuge, supreme object of the refuge, supreme object of the kind of supplication prayer. And according to that, as one practice, without any other thought, without any other doubt, without any other confusion, just kind of having, coming to what is called decisive conclusion, which means, like Guru Padmasambhava is the kind of ultimate object of refuge and object of supplication, just kind of like a touch, decisive conclusion. With that one do that practice, then it is 100% sure one can experience all the kind of blessing. And then when it comes to like a dying, since one has done all those practice, so when oneself dying, then one becomes more serious. Okay, now I am just going to die. One become more devoted, more sincere, more faithful. So that again, one is like a visualize Guru Padmasambhava and just chant 7 line prayer and completely rely upon it. That no matter whatever it happens to me, it is up to you, Guru Padmasambhava, I rely upon you. So even dying time also, do their prayer, do their practice, and remember that. And if one's practice is good enough, one can just have vision of Guru Padmasambhava before one dies. And before that, as a sign that may happen, in one's dream, Guru Padmasambhava appearing, just appearing, not just one or two times, more several times, and also, sometimes receive, teaching or information and so forth. Even in the dream. In daylight time, one also feel like sense of kind of experience as we have gone through in the explanation. Feel like oneself is very close to Guru Padmasambhava. that, that now, before we die, doing all those practice, make everything preparation for the death to become more serious, more effective, more beneficial. And without preparing, doing all that practice, last minute going to die, and then one worry, oh, what I should do, I'm afraid to Guru Padmasambhava, I'm afraid. It will not become effective now. So that is why, kind of like doing this practice, starting now, and when death comes, nothing to worry. And it was told that just after the death, we said, Luigi doesn't tell now. Luigi just this. Right now, this our typical karmic body. This is like a trap. And mind always is just kind of like a heavy visualization of Guru Padmasambhava and sense of kind of clear appearance and then that devotion. So, moment one, kind of die and consciousness live from this body, then dissolve to Guru Padmasambhava's heart and born there. That's what it is Lama Padmasambhava said in the text. So even not necessarily have to go to Padu. Directly just go to Guru Padmasambhava pure name. Even those practice is not effective enough and have not done enough, then still with that practice, die, then in the Padu again one can just possible to appear at Guru Padmasambhava or Amitabha Buddha appear in the Padu, same like that, and then one can just get it, recognize, oh, this is Guru Padmasambhava. You recognize and easily he can liberate it.
Just a minute, So, for me, there is no question at all actually, but I am taking the privilege of this glorious and very valuable moment. First and foremost, we are very blessed. We are born in the land of Devi Yamazon, and is a privileged chosen land. And we are very fortunate that our karma has bring back the glory, and we are very grateful to have this kind of 2 days learning in the auspicious day of Chechu also, where we ending up. And since knowledge I found is that it keeps on growing, it keeps on contributing in this way. Curiosity brings a lot of questions, but I found that once you follow the track, questions automatically dissolve in everything. Apart from that, since today is a Chechu also, and we are born and brought up in this Devi Yamazon, and we are very fortunate to have Seva also here, that from the Buddhism dynasty, we are very fortunate out of this world, in this world, we are very fortunate to be born and brought up in Devi Yamazon. And since Yamazon is what we have learned, is a chosen land of Rinpoche, so please enlighten us on this special day. I request that in the growth of the Chechu, which falls on the 24th July this time also, and the government of Sikkim also declares this day as a special holiday for the Buddhist people here. So your word of blessings and your word of enlightenment on the Guru Tuta will help us to connect more deeper for the religious or what you call a pure reason or pure for your rules of religion. Because one more adding to the point, we keep on going to the pilgrimage here in the Devi Yamazon also, and every Lamana, since now yesterday, the word Lama has been highly, what you call, enlightened towards the meaning of this emptiness and these connections, this very, very valuable what we used to take very carefully. Lamana was your meaning and everything. Now we understand the true meaning of Lamana. So thank you for enlightening on this very powerful and profound word Lama also. And whenever we visited this pilgrimage site in the Sikkim, everybody says there is a lot of help from the religious side. So your special, what you call, blessings word on this, especially the Guru Tuta and the Tell of Sikkim will help us to get more blessing from this pilgrimage.
गुरु ठुंगर की कौन वाला गुरु Guru Tungar yuwa. Guru Tungar Tsechu kola durduji songro chese. Ante hana shin denjong la ta ter mong be yuwa na. Ante indi koso ta denjong dang jebe ki ter chun dutse parikari yuwa na. Di kola durduji songro chese kongro chi. Chewa dire shan.
You expressed that about Guru Padmasambhava's kind of life story. Of course, that part of it, which I already included in this sermon prayer, and anyhow, Guru Padmasambhava's kind of life story, as based on that kind of Amitabha sea, and then that landed in Dhammakocha lake, and instantaneously appeared Guru Padmasambhava, and then to show to the kind of like people, the public, that kind of to how to attain enlightenment and liberation, one had to kind of like one had to study. And according to that, on purpose, the Guru Padmasambhava to show all those kind of display, he went to Nalanda University and meet all the great masters and receive all the teaching, Sutrayana, Tantrayana, Vajrayana, and even Bhakti Yoga. And actually, Guru Padmasambhava in his life story, kind of said, he even meet with Buddha Saman Bhadra, Dhammakaya Buddha, through which he received Ati Chitti and Ati Yantik, kind of those kind of like innermost kind of teachings direct from the Buddha Samantara and also from Vajrasattva, and then many of these instructions from the great Dzogchen master, Shri Singha, and how kind of like to show that into the public. He engaged into practice, even just practice into the channel grounds, and anyway, that how he kind of like display the complete accomplishment of kind of like the enlightenment, and then according to his kind of enlightened mind, that how he knows where are those what's the kind of like Julja, that who could be tamed with kind of such teaching. And so that where he just came through Nepal, Sikkim, and this what historically we have this Guru Padmasambhava kind of holy places, that on purposely he see there are the kind of like more qualified vessels, disciples, and then according to the many lifetimes aspiration prayers with the Dhamma King Chusukdevan and Acharya Shanta Rakshata, and including qualified disciples, so that the Guru Padmasambhava, knowing all those, how the king invited, he just anyway went to Tibet, and at the same time, during all those times, Guru Padmasambhava has given all this Vajrayana, including the inner tantra, this Dzogchen teaching, whole bunch of categories of those teaching, even in India, Nalanda University, and then also in Tibet, all the empowerments, and then the kind of teachings, instructions, and many of those, whatever it is the importantly necessary that which help to attain enlightenment and realization and to liberate, he gave all everything there. And rest, then Guru Padmasambhava, that for the future generation, which is like say degenerating period of time, from like the after Shakyamuni Buddha also came when the starting the degeneration And when people sleep, kind of 100 years or more, and from that, the Sutarana teachings is very good in so many ways, but still it is not becoming effective enough. When it is kind of like people's minds are degenerating, for example, like the afflicted emotions. Afflicted emotions are getting more active, more strong, more what to say, not necessarily powerful, but very people get easily distracted, easily get angry, easily kind of like just arise all these kind of emotions. During Buddha's time compared to here, people's minds have changed so much, kind of with so much of this emotional feeling stronger. So at that time, the negative force, like negative emotions are strong. Then for that Dhamma practice also need that much of powerful, kind of antidote. And that is why this, Vajrayana, and especially, inner tantra, and especially that, Adi Yoga, the great perfection, it is saying, now it is the, time for the practice of the Tokchen, and because, kind of like people's, the negative, kind of feelings and emotions, the thoughts are so strong, and so that kind of the antidote also have to be more kind of like powerful. For example, Buddha's time, when Buddha's first teaching, Buddha said, when that this samsara is suffering. To his 5 disciples, when he said it, they immediately recognized, oh, it's true. Samsara is suffering. They understand and realize instantly. And today, how much we say, oh, samsara is suffering, samsara has so much problem, samsara has sickness, some people say all this kind of warfare, and so on and so, and people are not just going to, oh, it's okay, it's okay, it's good. Nobody gets so excited, or nobody knows, kind of, it is true. So that mind level, how it is changing, that the Fourth Noble teaching is at that time worked so fast. And that way, the cause of suffering is the Kunjung Dhamma, the karma and the afflictive emotion is the cause of suffering. And then all the disciples immediately recognize, oh, that's true. Understand. And they gave that wisdom. In Vijnana level, that is called Gyuntu Shubha. Chiri Wong, Chiri Myung, Dachama. So Gyuntu Shubha means they already entered into that knowledge, understanding, realization. So today even just say, the cause of suffering is, afflictive emotion, and then, this karma. People hear it, but nobody is becoming so serious about it. That is why not just really, kind of like caring about how to work with these, kind of negative emotions. Nobody is just kind of serious about, we should not, create all this negative karma. Maybe many individuals, maybe in India, they are working in that way, but as a whole, nothing becomes very serious. So that is why at that time, Fourth Noble teaching is good enough. Now, after that, Shakyamuni taught about for mind and this prajna, with the 6th perfection and that which works with that, and then now even these days, how much one instantly deepen, understand, have knowledge, everything, but still, in practical sense, nobody is really concentrating into real practice. Very few. There are, but very few. And so that is why the emotion, negative emotions are strong, cannot, cut through it. So that is why the Vajrayana just the kind of like direct teaching. That is how the purpose Guru Padmasambhava came, and also many of those inner-tantric teachings Guru Padmasambhava on purpose they kept into sealed into hidden treasure in so many ways, like in Tibet and many rocks and stupas and even Buddha Gaya, the stupas or certain kind of like temples, in so many areas, even many are just hidden into the mind of those treasure are revealed into their mind to rebuild out in the kind of future, for the future generation when these kind of the degenerating period of time. So that way, all those treasure revealers have kind of revealed out. And then, in Sikkim, I'm not that familiar. Sikkim have Guru Padmasambhava, this, normally heard about these, 4 caves to the east, west, south, and also where Guru Padmasambhava, kind of where he did, retreat and practice and walk through it, and there were so many places where we, blessed. And also, certain statues and certain, emblems, bells and vajras and purples and many other things that which Guru Padmasambhava kind of blessed and which he used, or even that many of the Mahasiddhas or realized beings, those which were now as a kind of a holy substance, and that which kind of here in Sikkim also has whole bunch of kind of them. But I haven't studied very detailed about the rest of hidden kind of treasures in kind of here. Other than that, the Rinpoche have all those kind of these Dharma texts, including Dzogchen, these three root deities practices and Dharma protective practices, development practices, and including this Dzogchen practice instruction that here. And Sadhu Rinpoche is actually kind of the Guru Padmasambhava's emanation, not that the Guru Padmasambhava made to on purpose to repeat out this teaching and to kind of flourish this teaching, which is in a way Sikkim is very lucky, and through the first kind of Dejun Cheryal, kind of the Dharma king, how try to kind of preserve all these kind of Dharma teachings and special kind of those holy items, including just to maintain this kind of Tula, that kind of temple and area, everything. But then kind of in the beginning, the majority population is devoted for Dharma, for practice, to respect, have more faith, more kind of respect. And then time goes by with the modern time, modern knowledge, scientific knowledge. People seem like getting smart, but they are losing what is called faith, losing what is called spirituality, losing what is called the respect into the holy places. That part of the spiritual part of the quality is losing. And then, kind of finding into the scientific modern, all these modern technologies, and they get so excited. It is interesting, it is beneficial in certain ways, but through that, nobody is going to liberate. Through the science, nobody is going to attain liberation. Nobody will attain enlightenment. Through scientific method, and scientific method is very good and very advanced, great technology, that will help for the relative life. In the conventional system, it is very powerful and beneficial. Besides that, because of science, now just look into this our world. How much disturbances with the kind of like a weapon, all this kind of technical things to cause the death of like kind of millions and millions of kind of people can die. So for all this afflictive emotion, hatred, anger, and then the power, and then the greedy, that in their mind becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. Want to attack them, want to control them, want to kind of wish to cover all the world once want to be conquered. So for that, because in their mind there is no dharma, no compassion, no loving kindness. So that is why we all have to work out how to flourish this dharma, within all this majority populations of the human being. This dharma, how to be more compassionate to other beings, how to care for the happiness of others, how to generate this kind of bodhicitta, how to work with kind of patience and so forth. It's all that kind of teaching, and that will help to bring one's mind into peace, and then also that can help to kind of like help other neighbors. One person working that way, one person helping the 10 people. 10 people help to kind of 100. 100 people help to 1,000 to just understand this one thing, law of karma. And that is, bodhicitta mind. And that, kind of what we want happiness, we have to know what is the cause of happiness. When we don't want suffering, we have to know how to get rid of the cause of suffering. It's not all negative emotion. So, according to that, Guru Padmasambhava also kind of left all these holy places and holy items and holy blessings, including this high Khenchen teachings, including like the other this one, like a shower of blessing. Shower of blessing. Very, very powerful. Everything according to Khenchen. Just whole visualization, whole understanding. Everything is very powerful. Through that, also one can repay back all the karmic debts and then purify and bring peace, and not just only kind of individual, even the local deities and the local spirits, and then human beings. Everything visualized there. It's also kind of very, very effective practice. Even just everyone can do as a family can do, as a whole, kind of community can do that. That will also pacify so many of those negative forces and evil forces, emotional disturbances can be purified. So that is what kind of like Guru Padmasambhava, as you said, as we chant Seven prayer, he will be there. So we can experience. So it is just kind of like there is no way to explain everything. Guru Padmasambhava's kind of enlightenment and activity, even it says, or even the Buddha tried to explain, it cannot be exhausted. So that much of kind of like greatness is there in Guru Padmasambhava's lifetime. So I don't know much. Whatever I just could have any tiny kind of understanding, I share with you. Okay, so we do dedication then. Last.
Your 7-line prayers teaching, करीबन 70% प्रतिशत सकिएको छ। अझ पनि 30% बाँकी छ। त अब यसपालिको लागि यति भयो। अब यसलाई बाँकीलाई पनि अब पुरा सम्पन्न गर्न पर्ने हुनाले हामी सबैको तर्फबाट रुचिलाई पुनः भविष्यमा यसलाई चाहिँ अब पुरा गरिदिनको लागि पालिदिनु हुनाले हामी सबैको तर्फबाट 소득이 남시 단위 배려가 이거 받아서 다들 추억이 주나 이 겹도 지금은 이 겹주는 어제 설명이 예수님 주고
너무 되게 많다.
너무
저는 너무 되게 많아. 그게 아이디어인데.
마음 받아야지.
됐다. 텔미다. 텔미다 많이 나한테 딱 소소 최저 소소 소파 진짜네. 그 다음 말씀 주고는 한테 이게 따서가
아니 저기잖아요. 그러시고 아시고 어떻게 물어보니 지금 애가 어미 때잖아. 대세를 갖다가 버리시면 아니구나. 알지 피리도와요 바기 시설이 기원사 프로젝트 컨트롤 그런 거 알게 안 돼요. 우리 시크사 무서워요. 오늘은 아미 서베 구루 부시 같은 거 냐면요. 프랙티스 함선으로 와고 아시바게 보나 그리 예전에 비즈니스 바기 시설은 그냥 다다니 어서 밀어서 나가서가지고 원하습니다.
그런 거에 지금 우리 32,000 듣는 거 제가 하구나. 그냥 아무것도 시죠.
아니 그것이 본원자 아니 서비 조건이 아니야 지시 다보고 7-9 prayer school. Particularly every individual day 32,000 7-9 prayers recitation 그런 거니 아니 그것이 밖에 오는 수는 많이 지지는 것처럼 맞습니다. अब लंच ब्रेक हुन्छ र 1:30 बजी 1:30 मा चाहिँ यहाँ चोक अफरिङ हुन्छ सबैजना चोकको लागि सामान दिनुहुन्छ सबैजनालाई एउटा जानकारी यो नेपालीमा समरी नेपालीमा चाहिँ समरी दिने टाइमिङ कति बजी राख्नु अहिले केही बजी सल्लाह छ 1 बजी राख्नु चाहिँ होला भन्नुभएको छ अब 1:30 बजी हाम्रो चोक सुरु हुन्छ तर चोकको सेसन धेरै टाइम चाहिँ लाग्दैन आज बढीमा 2 घन्टा लाग्ला त्यसैले 3 बजीसम्म सकिन्छ आफ्नो चोक गर्नु चाहिँ के अथवा 1 बजी जम्मा 1 बजी कति बजी ओके 1 बजी मतलब भनेपछि 1 बजी त्यस्तो भयो सही सुन्नुहोस् न अहिले 1 बजीको लागि चाहिँ यहाँ चोकको लागि एरेन्जमेन्ट गर्नुपर्छ है त्यसैले गर्दा यहाँ अलिक बिजी हुने रहेछ त्यसैले गर्दा राइट आफ्टर द चोक है धेरै लामो समय लाग्दैन समय मात्र दिनु हो आफ्टर चोक